Good afternoon. My name is Chris Hobel, and for my final HPS project, I decided to look at various forms of energy healing throughout the world and see if there is any evidential reason to believe in them. The reason for this is that if these practices do have evidence for them, then they can be seen as alternative to Western medicine or inform it in any way. Now, as a believer in the underlying theories of these practices myself, I was really hoping to find a reason to believe that some of the practices had merit. However, I come to the conclusion that there isn't any observable or replicable criteria for any of these practices, at least not enough to hold it on the same regard as any Western medicine. So two of the different practices that illustrate my point well are aura manipulation and esoteric healing. Let's begin with aura manipulation. So this is a practice wherein the practitioner claims to see the patient's surrounding energy field, or aura, and manipulates it to heal the patient. So in this practice, they essentially postulate that people have an energy field inside of them that extends into the sphere around them. Now, there are various problems with this, the biggest of which is that it postulates the existence of an energy field, which is in and of itself impossible to verify, which moves into the second point, where only practitioners of aura manipulation are able to actually see a person's aura. This makes it impossible to have an unbiased study done because A, you can't verify the thing that you're actually measuring, and B, the only people that can do the measuring are biased because they believe in it already. There is a case to be made that you could do a study where you take two different practitioners, measure a person's aura, and judge the differences in what they measure. However, this would be an entirely qualitative study, which is much less reliable for any form of evidence, because you have to rely on a practitioner's description of something rather than having individual data points to measure and see a verifiable effect. Now, another form is esoteric healing, which is a practice based on traditional Taoism, where the practitioner alleviates blockages in a person's chakras. Now, this is nothing new for many forms of Taoism and Buddhism. However, esoteric healing is interesting because it tries to equivocate the 7 chakras to specific glands of the endocrine system. So all Taoism believes that there are various chakras in the human body that when they are blocked cause different illnesses or ailments or pain in certain cases. Equivocating these chakras to various glands gives us a specific point to observe and measure that would allow us to understand some form of evidence for this. However, the problems that I found with esoteric healing is that the links that it makes between the chakras and the individual glands, the function isn't exactly correct. They're close, but in many cases, I would switch a few. I am no expert in esoteric healing, but with my understanding of Taoism and Buddhism, there are a few that are just incongruous. Also, locationally, there are a few that aren't in the right place. You would expect these chakras to be at the same place as the glands, if nothing else, and those don't exactly line up. So we see both the function and the location seem to be random in many cases. So while this link does give us an actual point to measure and observe, it doesn't have any reason to prove this link, which makes it that we should be very skeptical of the entire process. If we cannot prove that the link has merit, the process itself is very suspect. For these reasons and more in my paper, I do conclude that energy healing practices are not observable and replicable, and therefore they do not display the criteria of evidence-based medicine, and consequently, they cannot inform Western medicine or be used as an alternative in any way. So thank you.